Coast is very good at catching people out, which basically means whenever you have that tingling feeling of, I should not be here, you suddenly get an Ari charm out of a fog and you're now instantly dead. And they suddenly take your towers and dragons and now you're incredibly behind.
Welcome back to the 2014 Spring Promotion Tournament. Before we get to Game 4 between the Walking Dead and Team Coast, I want to talk to you guys about what we saw in Game 3. And they talked about, Bishu talked about in there, getting caught out. And that is something that Team Coast did very well in this game.
Yeah, Coast is always specialized in that, mostly because Shifter has historically been an assassin plus Zed player, or Ziggs player. That's the way I've always classified him. He was known for Zed and Ari early in his career, and he had always played Ziggs, even when nobody really played him. He's generally like the roaming playmaker of their team. I feel like even though he, to me, is their best player, arguably their best player, his job on the team, or what he designates himself to do, is to get the other lanes going. He tries to get Zion going, he'll roam top to get Zion going, he'll go bottom to get Wiz Fusion going, and he'll try his best not to like farm Wraiths or get some extra CS here and there, because like that's just his style.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Coast style ends up being really Zion Spartan focused. You saw them kind of in this game where, even in Game 1 and Game 2 actually both, where Game 1 he's running around, split pushing against Shyvana, eventually he makes headway, then Coast starts to unlock the map. Here they're like kind of treading water, getting small advantages, but then he finally sort of unlocks his Nasus and he's like, alright, I'm going to go kill turrets, and then you guys have fun because Zion Spartan's going to kill everyone 1v2, and then Coast kind of wakes up.
Gotta imagine how frustrating it must be for Yuzuki. He was up 80 CS at one point. He was doing incredibly well in that lane, and there is just nothing he could do versus that Nasus.
Yeah, honestly, Yuzuki's had a great tournament so far. I don't think he's played bad in any of these games. The first game he played Nasus, he did really well. He split the lane even, which is a win, honestly, to split lanes even. And it was in the same matchup, so he just played the reverse matchup now. He was 80 CS ahead in a matchup that he played against Zion previously. He was proxying, he was trying to roam across the map, but honestly, in his situation, he's like, mid's losing and bottom's losing. Like, they just randomly dove between two turrets and died and like lost their tower. I can't do anything. Like, there's no way he could possibly have carried that game. So if I was him, I'd be incredibly frustrated at like just the fact that he can do nothing with his lead.
Yeah, exactly, and you mentioned all the pressure he created, him pulling Ari up to the top lane a couple of times, and it was a bunch of like really small misplays that screwed it up, because we saw a level 6 Wukong gank, Karma Shield fully snuck in from the brush, got the ult on a Daydreamin', and then Bobby Hankill, instead of following up with a Zap or following up with Flame Chompers with no counter pressure available, like Olaf wasn't there, Saber's not going to 1v1 him, he's like, I'm going to shoot an ult full health and then go this way. And puts no pressure onto the gank and doesn't snowball the lane or anything. So even though the map is like really lopsided and everyone's down there to help these guys out, none of the plays end up sticking, which is why we saw like a 14-1 kill score for Coast. The opportunities were there, they just didn't follow through.
Yeah, to me it was really the little things, and I think that is stress coming out of the Walking Zed, because they had a comp with that Wukong and then the knockup. Maybe Katarina could jump in there, but Katarina never got going, and I think Kaz on Wukong especially, he had a very rough game.
Yeah, and I like the comp so much from Walking Dead. I think it really, really does work, because you have the Wukong engage, Katarina helps that happen. It's like, Karma helps that happen. It's like the better version of last game's comp, where like they can go in and then there's follow-up. There's a whole bunch of damage from Katarina. Jinx has the execute, and I know we were talking during the game, and you said you didn't really like double reset because who's going to get it going, and I kind of felt that like just the Jinx ult is enough to sort of overcome that and get Katarina rolling, but the problem that I saw was that none of the engages actually happened. These guys got behind early on, and Kez just couldn't find the initiations more than once.
Yeah, honestly, if Bobby Hankill didn't fall so far behind, I think you're right that double reset is fine in that situation because of like the upfront damage that Jinx brings and just how much poke she brings. I just didn't think that Bobby was very comfortable. He didn't seem comfortable on Jinx. He missed pretty much every ulti, and sometimes he would ulti people like 80% HP. It seems like he doesn't play that champion very much, and he, when presented with the opportunity to use like other abilities, he would just pick the most wrong one.
A lot of stress coming out. We'll see if they get their nerves under control on the side of the Walking Zed. For the play-by-play of Game 4, let's send it over to Kobe and Pastry Time.
Thanks, Shox, and let's get right to it. Game 4 between the Walking Dead and Team Coast. With one more win, Zion Spartan and crew will clinch the 7th berth in the NA LCS Spring Split.
So was Zion storming the gates. His Q was over 550 bonus damage at the end. He never died in that game, and basically won them at the end there. There was nothing Yuzuki could do at the end when he was knocking on that turret from full health and tanking it himself. Basically just won the game.
It really did, and Coast kind of picked up where they started in Game 1, I felt like. The Walking Zed had a really amazing grind-out win in Game 2, but in Game 1, it was just a massacre for them, unfortunately. Coast ran all over them. That wasn't quite as one-sided as Game 1, but it really felt like Coast never let go of control. And for me, Kobe, the question is, if Coast get a lead against this team, can they actually lose?
Yeah, I think that's a really tough spot for the Walking Zed to be in. It doesn't seem like they have had that many answers. And like Double was saying, they need a really strong AD carry to come through here. It was a little bit harsh there on Bobby, but
it's double lift.
Yeah, but so they definitely need that bottom lane to show up because Daydreamin' definitely has, and so has Wiz.
Yep, so we'll see the bans here. Cassid and Riven for the Walking Zed to start things off. Nidalee and Gragas over on the coast side. So again, really respecting Bishu. And we saw it last game. We could see 6 mid bans once again. Sivir, though, is the adaptation here for TWZ.
Okay, so they don't want to have at least the Sivir there. The extra mobility was a little bit too much to deal with, they felt like. They're leaving the Nasus up. Like we said, Yuzuki actually did tremendous in that top lane matchup. And it was pretty much the team losing everywhere else on the map that they weren't able to pull anything out from it.
Yeah, I mean, Shyvana really can't stop Nasus just 1v1. Like, she can pressure him, sure, but you can't really kill him without help.
Well, that's why I kept saying he's frustrated. He's looking for other stuff to grab. He's like, let me take your white. I'll make Shifter come up here a couple times. I'll farm between your turrets. But that's
with
pretty
no
much
help,
all he can grab.
On his own, you're right. There's not a whole lot he could do. Shyvana, actually, the last ban, interesting enough. So Costa, like, we did it once. I don't really want to do it again. But Dr. Mundo is actually available here.
So I think a nice, beefy top lane would be a good first pick here. Because it's just been pretty much the story of a lot of these games.
Yeah, and Mundo we've just seen time and time again. Talk about late game tanks who get really scary. Mundo gets really, really scary when he gets going. But this would be a curious pick here. Very, very, I'm not going to say bold. I've said a little too much, but it would tell me a lot about what they want to be doing. And yeah, they're going to first pick Ziggs.
Well, I guess, only 5 bans on mid lane champions. We'll have to throw in a first pick there.
That's true. That was the other ban.
And since Shifter is technically, the assassin plus Ziggs player, grab away that Ziggs. We'll have to see what he comes up with next. He does play, more champions than other assassins. That's just what he was originally known for.
So Kobe, I have an interesting bit of trivia for you about Shifter into Ziggs specifically. He plays LeBlanc.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to do it now, but he does play it. It would be really sweet to see it. But I know that's a lot of what he's gone to, at least in his solo queue games, from what I understand. That when he sees a Ziggs, he just wants to kill it over and over again.
Ziggs is really, really hard to match for pushing power. It's almost impossible to match him with that. So what you do is you look for kill potential on Ziggs. One way to do that is a very strong early game jungler like Elise, who's basically tailored for mid lane ganks because she can get in those very nice Fog of War spots and land cocoons from the side. The other way is, like you said, use something like LeBlanc, who has amazing kill potential herself.
Maybe both here, but the first 2 picks going to be Thresh and Elise over for Coast.
And again, it looks like, just from hovering over, TWZ are looking to take away as many champions as they can from Team Coast right here, looking at just, grabbing all of their favorite champions and denying them to them.
And it's blocking in that sense in the draft, like picking picks that you know the enemy team want is not a bad strategy, but I don't know if I've seen the Walking Zed play some of the champions they're known for. And Nintendo, interestingly to me, had Olaf open and actually chose for Elise instead. So I think, as you said, they're kind of tailoring to mid lane here, knowing that they need to shut down the Ziggs.
Seeing that Ziggs pick actually makes your team think, okay, that's something that we're going to have to deal with, because even just in this tournament, we've seen Ziggs have such a huge sphere of influence. He starts out, with just the mid lane, and then he slowly pushes your mid laner into his turret and expands his sphere into your jungle, and eventually the entire map is just Ziggs party zone.
Yeah, and now Lucian and Olaf, the next 2 picks there for the Walking Zed. So going to take that jungle that Nintendo loves so much away, although they could play it in the top lane, and Lucian in there as well. Very strong AD, but Zion Spartan, he liked it before, he's going to do it again. Nasus and Jinx, the next 2 picks.
Looking towards that end game there, Zion is going to be pretty happy about how the last game went, because even though he was down in CS, lost his turret, ended up becoming a huge end game factor. Bobby, though, picking up the Lucian, that's a very high impact laning phase AD carry. Really, really good at the trades, like we always say. So we'll have to see what they can actually make with that very high priority champion because going up against Wiz and Daydreamin', they've been having some trouble, and Jinx plus Thresh is a very potent combination.
Yeah, Bobby's played a lot of Lucian, though he played a ton of it in the NACL here kind of leading up to this event. So we'll see what happens here. I'm interested to see Mundo just not being considered, it seems like. These two teams might not even play it. I think it's fallen through the picks and bans almost every game, actually.
All right, so not a lot of meat for this TWZ team then.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's going to be a jungle Olaf probably, and jungle Olaf does not get quite as beefy as a top lane Olaf. So they're just looking like an extremely offensively oriented composition here, which is just how Coast usually play their style. That's something Coast is known for, you know, not even running with a tank. So I'm pretty sure Coast is going to know how to deal with this one, and they're just going to wait till Zion gets to be extremely beefy and focus on that Nasus.
Yep, so Kha'Zix and Fiddle, the next two picks there for the Walking Zed. And Nidus has played a ton of Fiddle, actually. Again, another champion he's very comfortable with. So this lane is nothing unusual
Right.
to TWZ, that's
So
for sure.
locking in the Kazakh's going to be looking for some resets of their own, and then this is pre-nerf Fiddlestick, so his fear is still extremely long duration. Does crest at 3 seconds.
But that last big
Towards
Kobe,
the end.
we were talking about it. Shifter, I hoped he would do it into Ziggs, and he has done it. He's going to pick LeBlanc here, and I cannot wait to see how this lane looks.
All right, so we're going to have to watch out for the very quick and flashy Shifter plays early with LeBlanc on Bishu. Those will be assisted by the Elise. I said you can either have a jungler with high kill potential or someone like LeBlanc. You know, they're just going to go with both and hope that that's going to grab them a kill mid on Bishu, because if they can get him behind, then, you know, the rest of the team not having that much meat, like we said, should be easy to pick off.
And a lot of the way the picks in this game have gone as well, I think Wiz on Jinx is just such an amazing thing again. His Jinx in game 1 was pretty much the reason they won that first game here. So I really like Coast's team comp. I think they're very comfortable with it. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure about these picks from the Walking Zed. I understand a little bit of what they're going for. Certainly Fiddle Lucian, something I've seen them do, but Annie was open. Like, there were picks here that a lot of people would consider probably better than some of these champions, but Walking Zed are going to go with what they love.
It is interesting, you know, they pick Ziggs first, which is amazing lane presence, all going to be shoving all the time, and then their top laner is a Kha'Zix, who does not have very strong early game lane presence unless he gets an extremely favorable, you know, level 2 engage or level 2 all in and just wins his lane that way. He doesn't have the amazing wave clear anymore after the changes to his W, so.
I mean, what do you think of his matchup up there in top lane? Because he's going top against Nasus.
Well, he's going to want to kill him early.
I hope so.
So that's what he's looking for. Kha'Zix, his Q right now, you know, it has isolation damage, and then when you upgrade it, it also has execute damage. So it's an amazing tool for trading in lane early because it doesn't grab you minion aggro. So he's going to look to try and use as many of those Qs early on Zion and force Zion back very early so that he doesn't get to that beastly phase that he did last time.
Yeah, and I mean, as you said, going to have to be quite aggressive early on. Again, talking to Crumbs quite a lot this weekend, as it turns out. But he actually likes Riven against a lot of these bruisers just because she can really pressure them early and just get aggressive and kill them. Because they're tanky, but they're not that tanky until they get items.
Right, and that's a very similar thing with Kha'Zix because of that, you know, Q not drawing aggro. It's amazing for early trades. And Yuzuki, I feel also like that frustration is kind of boiled over into this game. He could not carry last game because he's a tank, and he's looking for a champion where he can actually decimate Coast and he can do some carrying.
Yeah, but this might be a comp for the Walking Zed that is really contingent on their early game going well here. And again, you kind of said that seems to be Coast strategy a lot of the time to want to be aggressive in the early game. But this is a lot of people just chilling in the bush. I guess they're expecting another invade from Nintendo after 2 games in a row now.
And camping those bushes also has been extremely successful. So they're wanting to stay as a group in the early game just in case there is one of those invades. But Coast changing up their play here. You don't want to ever fall into a pattern in League of Legends because that's when you start losing games over and over. If you're predictable, then it's very easy for your opponent to exploit you.
Yeah, very safe sort of setup here by Coast, just kind of guarding all the entrances. They are up 2-1 here in this series, of course, so if they take the next game, they'll be back into the LCS as a team that had a bit of a struggle there, but with this new lineup, look quite reinvigorated, and they've done so well in the challenger scene. Credit to Walking Zed, though. You know, they're a challenger team. You would expect a team like Coast to roll all over them, but...
Oh, yeah. The Walking Zed have also gained tremendous LAN experience here. You know, even though it's only a best of 5, they've been here, you know, they put in the hours.
They really
to say the
have.
least.
Now Nintendo going to pick up that blue, and certainly this game is up in the air between these two teams. Apart from the first game, and I guess the last game, which was certainly much closer, this series looks really tight between these two, and if any of them were going to go to 5, this might be the one here. So Coast...
It's interesting that we see this, 2v1 switch here. They're actually not even looking for that Yuzuki and Zion matchup. Because if you do, go extremely aggressive early with Kha'Zix and you're looking for all those constant trades, then you do expose yourself to ganks. And with a jungler like Nintendo on Elise, it would probably make some early trips up there.
Yeah, and I like what Zion's doing. He's just hanging out with Nintendo, getting a bit of extra experience for himself. Gonna maybe get a Q stack here if he can get it. Looks like Nintendo will give him both little minions actually, which is nice and polite of him. And Nintendo's not gonna lose too much out from that. Oh, Shifter going so aggressive on the Bishu. Nice early trade, but Ziggs coming in with the damage.
I like this from Bishu. No fear. He doesn't hesitate to trade back. When you get all in from LeBlanc like that, she's spent everything for the upfront damage. And even though you just lost half your life, it's now your turn to go aggressive, and you need to take advantage of that window of opportunity so that you don't lose out on the trade altogether.
It's going to be even harder for Shifter to do that in the early levels once Explosive Minefield is leveled for Ziggs as well, because when she tries to walk back kind of through where she blinked, she's going to just eat a whole bunch of extra damage as well. So Shifter taking advantage early here, but really level 6 is what he's going to be looking for.
Both junglers as well now playing the defensive route, going to visit their solo laners and help them CS. There actually is some kill potential up here in the top lane.
Flash Cocoon, Bobby Hank kill, that could be bad news. But looks like Lucy going to get jumped on now by Nintendo as the exhaust comes out. Nidus as well potentially in trouble. But no more left there for Nintendo in the tank in terms of Cocoon. So just a bit of trade back and forth.
All right, so jungler flash spent for the support summoners right there. He did get both of them, but the AD carry, Bobby, is still in full control. He's got everything available to him.
Yeah, Nintendo kind of sticking around in the top lane as well. Probably wants to just clean out what he can here and just make sure Zion doesn't get pushed in too hard. And this is a nice adaptation from the Walking Dead. I'm not sold yet on the Kha'Zix in a 1v2, but they want to shut down Zion a little better than they did last game. And actually fast pushing him is quite a good way to do so.
There's an interesting decision here that's different for both the junglers. It's Nintendo deciding for lane presence, just staying up there and making it a 2v2. He's got side push control, and so they're just sharing all of the lane minions experience and getting that little extra bonus, whereas Cortez, he goes back, he takes the double golems, then he returns to the lane. So he's still getting a few of those jungle minions mixed in with this lane experience.
Yep, Costa doing a nice job here, forcing Kez to rotate down. Yuzuki going to be very happy to be babysit a little here as Wiz Fusion really wants to push in and harass with Daedrin as much as they possibly can. And we're going to have a bit of a race here to get the first turret down. But it looks like Shifter's actually going back here. Bishu getting early control of this lane.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Being able to shove the wave and harass at the same time is what makes Ziggs so powerful, because all of his bombs, of course, explode into area effect damage. He's able to basically kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or 2 minions.
Sure, birds
with
minions.
1 bomb.
Yes. Down the bottom again, continuing pushing in here. Very even CS between the two ADs early on in this one as well. And LeBlanc double Doran's ring now up for Shifter as well in the mid versus the Chalice of Harmony, plus 1 Doran's out there for Bishu. So Bishu going to be happy, going to be looking for that Athene's pretty early on. And again, we've talked about Ziggs, how much he shoves in waves. Is really the only thing that stops him from doing so is mana, and Chalice going to give him plenty of that.
Now, he does have mana because of the Chalice, but he's just warded the bottom side, and we have Elise waiting on the top side for him. So if they get a little bit aggressive, then Nintendo can come in for that potent Elise gank that we were looking for.
Yeah, and that Thresh Lantern sieging continuing there for Coast as well, with Wiz Fusion taking the turret to about 60% health here as Nintendo very patiently. He knows he wants to try and shut down the Ziggs if he can, and Bishu hit level 6, maybe going to get aggressive here.
I mean, Nintendo's using a lot of time mid, just waiting in that bush. Finally gets a little antsy and decides to give up on that patient gank that he was waiting for.
Spartan up the top, farming away as per usual here, about 10 CS behind Kha'Zix, who would be his lane counterpart if not for the switch. And in fact, we're going to switch back now, Kobe, with the dual lanes returning to the bottom lane.
Interesting switch up here. They're actually going to have both of them return down bottom just in time for Dragon. So this may signal that Coast are looking to try and use that teleport from Zion to take the early objective. And we've actually passed that early point where Kha'Zix is going to have, the very scary trades for Nasus. Now Zion's a bit tankier. He's got the giant chainmail coming in there. But down bottom, there's the first gank.
Yeah, flash play going in there. Tromp is down as well. Zap will hit onto Bobby Hankill. And Nintendo's looking for a great death sentence there from Daydreaming. And that's going to be first blood to Elise.
Again, Daydreaming making the plays here. He brings in Intended with the Lantern and then lands the crucial death sentence. Talking about opening up that dragon for takes. They've got an Elise jungle who can tank it with her Spiderlings, and then a top laner with teleport. So if Nintendo goes and heals up, then they might turn their sights towards that.
Could look for it here. Smite goes down. Gonna donate this over. Looking for the steal. Doesn't quite get it. That was very close though.
Yeah, bold move right there. They decided to leave it because that's pretty much their only option. Both ultis being used up here. And the all-in from Yuzuki does come down.
Yeah, I mean, Zion kind of running away here. Yuzuki getting him very
he
low.
wants it.
He does. Good flash there. They both flash away at the same time. And no, not the last turret hit. Almost there.
That chain vest for Zion really paying off
Did
right
some work.
there.
Talk about being cost efficient. That was, I don't know, the Walmart of League of Legends. Is that how that works in America, Cody?
Yeah, pretty much. I like the double flashes there too. Zion holds on to it because he knows. He could see it in Yuzuki's eyes. He's getting hungry.
Had the sense. And yeah, he was. I mean, Kazik's always hungry for blood. But Zion there, just escaping death there, and almost got the trade kill as well. As we see, continuing just to try and chug away here. Unfortunately, can't go the same Spirit Visage route, so can't have massive regen coming up, but the Chain Vest definitely saved his life.
Also, unfortunately for him, that Spirit Fire took all the minions too low. Oh, here comes the Shifter all in.
Oh, aggressive there, but Bishu, again, a defensive sort of player. That barrier there should be okay in this one.
Yeah, no ulti available for Bishu, though, because he already tried to use it.
He's looking sneaky here, Shifter. No, not quite going to get tagged with the bomb. There's a ward there, actually.
Yeah, he wants one more.
Satchel Charge comes in. No, not quite. Very nice attempt, though, as Yuzuki up towards the top now. Intended rotation. Oh, he maybe, no, he doesn't get the kill. As Zion Spartan does get the Q to the face.
See, that's the aggression that I was talking about. When you are the one with the kill potential on your side, you're Izuki, you're the Kha'Zix. You know you want to get a kill early on this Nasus before he gets amazingly tanky. It opens you up to ganks, and in comes Nintendo. They're able to capitalize.
Shifter really flirting with danger here in the mid lane. Bishu looking to dominate the mid lane right now. Oh, the ult moves out. Doesn't quite get him, though. Shifter hiding off to the side. And that's actually TWZ picking up a dragon as well.
Yeah, good job by them. They don't hesitate because of the gank up top. They're able to tape the objective, and because of the pressure that Ziggs applies middle, it means that there's no position for Coast to reply here because their mid laner is constantly being forced back to base.
Yeah, good bit of pressure though from Coast. I think a smart decision to stay up the top and take out the turret that you kind of knew would go down there. Yuzuki, great ward there as well, kind of sensing Nintendo waiting off to the side. I mean, Nintendo tried to gank every single lane so far, and he just managed to catch Yuzuki. He was very, very hungry for a kill.
This is a dead even game, Pastry Time. They got an objective up top to answer. The top turret did go down, so we're back to even Steven.
But Shifter, I mean, I was ready for the LeBlanc pick here up against Ziggs. Just hasn't quite had the impact I think he wanted it to.
I mean, he's always looking for more dodges here because Bichu's been doing a good job landing the skill shots for the harass and shoving at the same time. It leaves, you know, very few options open for LeBlanc. We might have to get a hot shot maybe on the analyst desk real quick to see what his answer would be for that LeBlanc versus Ziggs matchup.
And again, the issue with this is that Nintendo can't really wave clear, but he is rotating him for a bit of pressure. Shifter going absolutely massive looking for that kill, but a great bit of satchel charge. Plus flash, no! The Ignite's going to pick him off.
So there's the answer right there. Shifter actually too deep.
Oh, that is a pain. Actually picked up the one kill there on the Shifter. Nice little answer there from Fiddlesticks.
Nidus her pain. That was pretty good. Oh, Nintendo has to lead now because Cortez has popped his ulti.
Good flash though. Nidus the man over the top looking for the fear. The undertow just short in the fear, not quite in range. Yuzuki rotating through his other next axe hits intended. Repels out of the way. Nowhere really to go. Falls back down and Yuzuki picks up the kill.
All right, so the Walking's Dead doing a good job here. Now they're the ones with the map advantage, and they're just going to recall from that jungle side, but they were able to claim a couple objectives after that. Let's take another look at this kill. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about from Bishu, or from Shifter. He uses both W's right there and the R to get in position so that the satchel charge will knock him with Bishu when he's trying to escape, and he stays close enough that he gets the kill. Unfortunately for him, Nidus is level 6 there. Level 7. Does have his ulti and able to clean it up.
Yeah, I mean, using all your gap closers for that very intelligent play that got him the kill. Unfortunately meant that he couldn't really get out there between the two turrets. That was a deep dive from Shifter coming out. So does get the answering kill, does Nidus. I mean, and Yuzuki picking up that kill there as well. Is nice moves there. So 3-2 in kills for Coast. Very even again between these two. There's so little goal between them. 1,500 or so. Kobe and Daydreamin finally misses the hook.
You can see how all of the focus turns towards the bottom after the turrets start falling in the top and mid lane. Pretty much everybody's headed down here because this is the lane that's shoved closest together now. Since both of the other lanes are much longer, having turrets gone down, most of the action is going to be focused down here. And it's a good job there by Nidus to ward the bush first.
Intended bait, check the lantern, not quite there, and there's way too much going on to be able to get out there. A box from Daydreaming, play back by Yuzuki, very low, looks like it is going to go down as Daydreaming picks it up now. Teleport moving through, flash hook goes to Nidus, so man's going to clean that kill out as well. And that's great moves there. Zion, once again, high impact teleport.
Well, talking about all the focus down bottom lane, that's definitely where the party is. It's only a 1 for 2 so far, but Coast want to make it more.
Shifter wants to go again. A chance to hit one more time. He's trying to snare him for so long here. Now Zion moving in. Once again, the kill. The Citadel of Zion's out as well. And Bishu's popped the barrier, but Zion's going to chase him in. And that's yet another kill for Nasus.
All right, he waits until the barrier's off for the siphoning strike. Finishes him off, and Shifter right there opting for the 2 chains instead of the extra damage on Q. Really good choice.
Yeah, that was blind as well. No vision in that bit of brush for him to go to. With Fusion now going to push down towards this tier 2 turret in the bottom. So Yuzuki there's like, oh!
Okay, he's going to stare him down for a little bit and get a little extra turret damage, knowing that he has Daydreaming. Now that is, it seems like one of those, the falling exercises. It's a trust exercise. Daydreaming says, yes, I have a lantern for you. Just close your eyes and click it. I promise I'll catch you.
And he did. Daydreaming, I mean, he's been playing so well throughout this entire series. His thresholds looked very, very impressive. And I have to say, with Fusion getting going now for Coast as well, it's not just Shifter that's starting to look a little better, roam more aggressively. It's not just Zion's Nasus that's quite behind, but 3 kills really getting the farm going.
And again, how many times do you have to say how close this game is? TWZ, they lose their bottom turret immediately, shove right back, and try to answer.
And the goal's dead even at this point as well. Nintendo cannot clear this out here. He's not got all of Yuzuki actually getting wrapped up though. Now Daydreaming coming through looking for a hook. Bobby hand kill. Gonna try and get himself out. He gets hooked again. But Nidus the main coming in with a crow stop. Gets in there and Nintendo absolutely gets obliterated.
Bobby tries to call backwards. And he looks flashy, but he doesn't get any damage out of it. Ends up being a kill for them in the... However it turned out, they got the kill. So everything works out. Nidus again comes in with the very, very strong Crow Storm right there and picks up Nintendo.
And Nidus, I said it before, he's definitely played support fiddle once or twice in his career. Absolutely loves fiddle on support here. And
first I thought he was shooting over his shoulder, but he was actually just walking backwards there.
I mean, that's pretty stylish, but unfortunately, it doesn't deal damage when you shoot it the other way. So,
right, so that actually calmed it down for a little bit. We have some breathing room. Now that most of the outer turrets are gone down, pretty much the only thing left standing is that Ziggs turret because he's always constantly shoving it.
Dragon could be coming up. Yep, 5 seconds left on that one as well. And both teams want to make sure they can capitalize on this if they can. So Coast grouped up.
Now this is going to be a 5-on-5, except for the fact that Bobby's already used his culling, and he's too late to the team fight. Since they can just burst this dragon down, it starts off as a 4 versus 5.
Yeah, Kez coming in, but Pops Ragnarok doesn't quite get changed up there
Keeps
by
him
LeBlanc. There's the ball coming in. Beautiful ult there from Bishu. Daydreaming very low as well. Gets speed up by Fiddle. He's dead as intended. He's going to fall in there as well. Now Zion cannot fight this at all. That's a double kill coming up for Kha'Zix. And we were worried about the snowball starting.
Yeah, starts out as a 4 versus 5, but Kez lands a beautiful axe to keep them all here, right there, slowing 3 members, and then in comes that beautiful Ziggs bomb that gets everybody low, and so they're all panicking, trying to run away. Nintendo hadn't have anywhere to go, so he goes a little bit deeper, and it ends up with 3 kills for TWZ. Big pickup for them because even though they lost the dragon, it gives them the map control. They've got everybody up, and they shove towards mid.
Yep, the Walking Zeg going to shove now onto this tier 2. Daydreamin really wants to make a play though, trying to find a hook. Kez though just missing. As Olaf's able to juke that one out. Didn't have his ultimate there, so would have likely been a kill.
One of the rare death sentence misses there from Daydream.
Yeah, haven't seen too many here as Coast going to clear out their mid turret pretty efficiently here.
It is worth noting that Zion Spartan has finished his Frozen Heart, and he's also got that Negatron. So he's got the tanky base stats right now. And when he pops his ult, getting that extra HP makes them all that much more effective. So he's already on the edge of that really tanky Nasus.
I'm actually curious to see if Coast are capable of playing from behind, though. A lot of the games we've seen them in, they've either been ahead or playing like they're ahead, and I feel like the Walkings that have kind of got their number a little now in terms of we're not afraid of it. Oh, Nidus going deeper on the shifter, actually. Feeds him up there with the Crowstone. Should be a letdown, no! A great satchel charge, but he rides his way out. Now the ultimate coming through, but nicely juked there by Shifter.
Shifter has to use his flash in the end to get to the Lantern, but he's able to escape with his life. Again, Daydreaming with a save. That was a backwards chain this time from Shifter.
Very stylish.
As he was a little bit scared.
And looks the Coast again going to try and clear this all out. Flay back in there as well. Wiz Fusion coming in. Going to be able to clear it all out pretty quickly here. And Bishu being annoying on the Ziggs. TWZ grouping up once again. Trying to get aggressive here under this tier 2 turret. And the engage hit is not a whole lot.
Yeah, and you talked about the early lead here for TWZ. But since they're the team that's very damage focused and they didn't have that much meat, it's usually that's the team that's going to have the early lead because the tanks really become more of an impact a bit later in the game. So Coast do have that in their pocket. They've got the tank one up on TWZ, and that's going to become a factor a bit later.
And I think this is a situation where you're right. Coast are just pretty happy in this one. I mean, again, they're not that far behind. And I think they're comfortable enough in their synergy and in their late game that they can go there. Wiz Fusion, though, going to jump up by Yuzuki, missing the lead just a little, but still an easy kill.
So that was actually the old activation on his Hydra. Whichever way you're facing, it's where the animation's going to go. Doesn't matter if he misses that because he has plenty of damage. A full damage Kha'Zix waiting in a bush. Very scary thing. And the AD carry is just what he was looking for in the bushes.
Yeah, Wiz Fusion's got to be careful here. Bobby Hankill down towards the bottom lane, pushing in this tier 2 turret now as well. And we said the Walkings that we're going to need to look aggressive in this game, and they've looked nice here. Lantern not quite riding in there for Nasus. Zion a little late, it seems like. And again, it's kind of relegated to cleaning things out.
And that last play is also very telling of the TWZ's comp and style that they need to go for here. Since they don't have that really main tank, since Kez is going to take a little bit longer to beef up, what they're counting on is the element of surprise and starting out with crowd control. If they can have something like Nidus again popping over with a Crowstorm, landing a Fear, that's how they want to start out fights. They don't want to have anyone actually having to face tank any damage. So if they get picks and kills like Yuzuki just did, then that's going to be just what the doctor ordered for them. To do that, we need more vision.
Yeah, and I think on top of that as well, Bishu really needs to look for his death cap here. I think he might have enough gold for it at this point. He's got to be very close if he doesn't quite have it. He's so much CS here. No, not quite enough.
Every time you think somebody's rich,
I'm very wrong.
They're just working on it.
I'm terrible at economics.
He's got an easily large rod though, so he's got a little bit extra punch in there.
Tower goes down there as well for the Walking Zed. Axis fly out here. I mean, they've got some poke here. Need to see still certainly enough bouncing bomb poke. Even the Void Spike coming into play as well. Now something getting grabbed up. The Flame Chopper's moving in. Shifter picks up the kill on the Fiddlesticks, but he's going to go down now as Bobby Hankill able to pick it up. Now Zion Spawn's joining the fray. Yuzuki trying to get the resets. Picked up one kill. Leaped his way out, but he is going to go down. Now Jinx maybe going to get some resets of her own as Repel does come down for release as well. Zion Spawn looking to clean up absolutely everybody as Janet and Nasus wants to try and get a few extra kills. Bishu cocooned up there towards the side as well. Kez now kiting him as well as Bobby Hankill's off to the side. Zion forced her a retreat, and people get very, very low there, Kobe.
Yeah, TWZ, they go very aggressive super early because they want to make something happen before Zion has a chance to teleport in. But Zion, he does get it off, and they aren't able to clean up before he gets there. They did get a good lockdown here. Boom, take out Shifter. So he's out of the fight already, and Yuzuki is running wild in the back there. He's able to burst down the support, but that just means it's a 2-for-2. And TWZ kind of wasted the time of the game there where they really had the upper hand. Because once Zion does get there, he shows you the importance of having that very beefy tank in the extended fights and how dangerous it is to dive a turret against a team like this.
Yeah, Zion had a few more items here as Nidus tries it again. That one not quite so good.
You know, they got to keep trying it, though, because, like I said, what they're looking for are those picks, and catching this Coast team off guard, just trying to burst them down before they have a chance to react.
Great little bit about that last fight as well that I noticed in the replay. WizFusion's ult missed everyone. If he'd hit probably any of the people that were low, they would have gotten an extra kill.
Yeah, it was a good aim because that's where the low people were, but it was too far away and they were able to spread out before.
Yeah, but I mean, Zion, you can see just getting tankier and tankier. Choosing to get a Sheen here instead of finishing his Spirit Visage, which, given how tanky he probably wants to be, with a lot of magic damage coming through, I guess mainly just from Bishu, a little bit from Fiddle, I'm not too sure about, but if he gets going here, as you already pointed out, Kobe, that's real problems.
Yeah, what he's really worried about is a lot of this AD that's coming from the Kazakhs and the Lucian. He's full defense there on that Nasus, so he does have the reduced area of effect magic damage from the defense tree, which is amazing talent against Ziggs because pretty much all of Ziggs' damage is area of effect magic. So he's got pretty much enough defense just with that cowl.
Yeah, Shifter here as well. It's kind of interesting at this point. He's had some impact here, and he's certainly going to be doing a decent amount of damage. Looks like maybe Void Star is going to be his next item choice here. He actually has quite a few good targets to assassinate here. That's not a luxury you always get as a block.
Yeah, he can pick and choose, actually, because any of these targets would be amazing to get off the field before a fight. Even if he grabs Nidus, so like going for the support there, that would be a very, very big kill for them, since that Fiddlesticks is packing so much of the crowd control they rely on.
Oh my goodness, Shifter blows up Nidus of Main.
All right.
Absolutely incredible piece of work there. And that's a good kill. They want a Cocoon wrapping up Kez now as well. The Zap will hit as the slow comes through. But they're just going to back away. He didn't quite want to chase through there.
So if I call out the target, does that mean Shifter's going to just go kill it
Maybe.
immediately? All right, so they're going to back off here, though. They should at least. TWZ, without that Fiddlesticks, they've just lost so much control over the team fights. They're probably not going to want to keep this pressure up because they know what happened last time they overextended.
Yeah, and Zion's got to be a little careful here. There was actually up towards the top when TWZ were pushing around towards the bottom side, and that's fine for him to split push, and he's clearly shown that he loves to do that, but he didn't have his teleport when he went to do so.
And we saw that was crucial. If he had not teleported to that mid inhibitor for that turret dive, TWZ would have ran over Coast because Yuzuki was on the edge of getting multiple resets there. He already had 2 kills, and the only reason they didn't get more is because the rest of the team pulled back out because of that Nasus teleporting in.
Yeah, we've got some nice power spikes coming out through here as well. Bishu's finally finished up his Rabadon, so we've got Aegis up as well for Olaf kind of working into his build. Blue buff actually stolen away there, so nice little move. I mean, the Walking Zed pushing Coast aggressively back here, but they're happy just farming here.
Interesting little adaptation, actually. They're not, even at this point, looking for Olaf to become the point man, to become that super beefy single tank for them. He's actually going with the team-based tank stats that come with that Aegis, because we just saw how vulnerable Fiddlesticks is to an all-in from Shifter. Like, Shifter can pick and choose his targets. He's trying to get everybody a little bit of magic resist rather than just some for himself.
And in terms of other itemizations coming through, I actually really like WizFusion's choice here, specifically against the Kazakhs, like you mentioned there, Kobe.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to let Kazakhs get resets, and we saw already how dangerous it could be, just him alone in the base behind there. It worked for Gambit just buying a Giant's Belt, so why won't it work for Coast?
We'll have to see. Such and such hanging out. Daedream going to clear that out. Little dangerous. I like these ward baits here from TWZ. They're really cute.
They're trying everything they can because, like we said, you know, they're looking for those picks and looking, you know, they have the damage to back it up. If they can grab somebody just for a split second, they can grab a kill.
The Jinx is so fantastic in a siege, though. And that's really causing TWZ problems here. They're slowly getting this turret down, but you mentioned it before, Cooper, they don't really have a tank to just walk in and face tank this turret.
Exactly, that's sort of the little problem here. You know, they've got amazing turret damage if they could just walk up there for a second, because Ziggs and Lucian both have, you know, great passives for getting just one shot and then backing out. They have to always be worried, though, about, again, the skill shot CC that come from Coast. Same thing as last time, they have Thresh. If one of those lands, they're going to be able to chain on top of that. And all of these TWZ members are very squishy, so whoever it is probably going down.
So Yuzuki back up towards the top lane, going to push that back out. The Walking Zed maybe going to try and create a little bit of pressure in some other lanes here at this point, but they've got a nice bit of vision around Baron. I think that's the place we can probably bring Coast and bait them to fight you.
It's very interesting because Coast they're building a nice arsenal for that fight. They're staying calm even under this high pressure TWZ team. They've acquired the Frozen Heart. That's going to do a lot for them. But they've also got now a Mikhail's Crucible. So whoever does get picked off by the Fiddlesticks and gets that fear, they're going to try and cleanse that one off as quickly as possible. And hopefully that will be able to turn the tide for them.
And Zion Spartan with his teleport back up now as well, able to really hammer down this bottom lane with pushing. So the split push strategy is now on once again for Coast. They have to be very, very careful around this Baron though, because that would be a very, very quick Baron pickup potentially, and there's so many pink wards.
And what Coast can do right now is kind of dare TWZ to start that Baron by sending Zion's bottom. They know that they can't really deal with that split push. Zion's got his teleport, so they're kind of forcing TWZ to make a risky play, take a lot of damage from Baron, and then try and turn it on them.
This is a beautiful play from the Walking Zed, by the way. They're moving pressure around, but they're going to check it out. And now they know the Baron's being dunked. Now just trying to run defense. This is a little dangerous all of a sudden. Almost hitting that death sentence. And look at Zion working down the bottom lane.
And again, Coast just have to buy him time. All they need to do is scare the Walking Zed off the Baron, and they've done that.
Yeah, there's recalls coming though. I think Coast want to move in, try and cancel as many of them as they can. Maybe won't even matter though. Zion just working on this inhibitor. Bucci throws out his ultimate. Maybe now they're like, oh goodness, we got to fight. They send Olaf back instead. But Zion's already cleaned out that inhibitor.
This is the problem when you've got the late game Nasus with teleport and not even a full Trinity Force, but just Sheen.
And it looks, yeah, that was an awful situation for the Walking Zed. You're right, and that Coast dared them to do exactly what they just did. They started a Baron. I liked what they did, moving two people in and trying running defense to try and be like, hey, we're actually pushing the mid lane. But a really nice sense there from Daedrin being like, they're probably doing Baron here. Let me check this out.
Yeah, they had very few options open to them. They were pretty much just had to burst that Baron down as quickly as possible. They were trying to be a little sneaky about it and just use two members. I don't know, they got it really close with just two. Maybe if they had committed a bit more, then you could have burned it down faster, but it also tips off Coast that you're doing it in the first place.
And I just noticed, Kobe, even after that inhibitor getting taken out, Coast are actually pretty significantly behind in gold.
So even though TWZ have the edge in gold, the team fight is pretty scary for them because Zion has gotten his Trinity Force, and he is that tanky beast.
We've seen this before.
Here we go.
I mean, Nidus going in again. Lantern should be able to ride it out and does as Yazuki going to look for that. Zion now rotating it towards the mid lane. He's found a new home. He was happy in bottom lane. Now he's moving on to different places. Ibichu almost getting hooked.
Yeah, they have to be careful because Olaf down bottom does not have teleport. This is a 4 versus 5 up top. TWZ are really playing with fire. If they get engaged on, you know, they actually don't even have their 80 carries. So
yeah, almost a 5 versus 3 started there. And Coast here looking aggressively around this Baron. They're going to try and pick up some vision, you have to think, around this area. And the Walking Zed are kind of everywhere at this point. Zion's going to walk in. He's not particularly afraid. Maybe he should be. That was a lot of damage. I think TWZ should be able to defend here, continuing to keep control of Baron.
This TWZ team has damage in spades. They can definitely dish it out. They just can't take too much of it. So as long as they can stay at range and land a couple of those skill shots before team fight starts, you know, poke them down, soften them up, then it looks good for them.
I mean, this whole game for Coast, though, has really just been about buying time. I mean, I said significant. I guess 4K is not that bad at this point of the game, especially 30.5 minutes in. Maybe one extra item or so for someone else. Here's Bishu's going to get all into his shifter. Very close to picking that up. The Dragon goes down. The Rocket missing there for Jinx. Now Zion's going to ride himself out, but he will get away. And Shifter should be able to be sneaky about it and get out as well.
Yeah, not tanky enough. They just melted through that Nasus tank. He's going to need a little bit more before he's able to take a lot of that. And it has to do with, you know, Yazuki's got armor penetration. You know, he knew that he was going to have to deal with a heavy tank, so he did not hesitate in getting the percentage armor penetration along with the flat penetration that comes with that Black Cleaver. So he can actually do a good amount of work on Zion if he gets the time alone.
We've seen it time and time again. Almost another brush bait there moving in for Coast. I'm going to defend this pink wall potentially if they can. I like that move from Kez, throwing his own out there, just kind of being like, yep, we'll buy a little more time. And that ward's still alive.
And it's actually the same with, you know, all the TWZ damage dealers looking for the penetration because they know they're going to have to deal with that tank. Even Bobby on Lucian has got a, you know, brutalizer right there to back up his Last Whisper. So he's looking for armor penetration as well. And then Bishu, of course, did get the amazing combination that is Death Cap and Void Staff, pretty much common for all mid lane APs.
Yep. They have spotted Bobby Henkiel down the bottom lane though, and Coast are going to start Baron here.
Yeah, he's far away.
Yeah, who'll immediately start moving out here. I don't know if Coast have quite the damage here. I mean, NASA's going to do a good chunk here.
They have to commit.
I mean, they do. They're going to try something. Nidus over the top, going to look in for the team fight. We'll start things off, and looks like they want the Baron, but Olaf does get it there. That's great news. And now Coast kind of in ruins. Yuzuki maybe looking to go down. With Fusion, though, trying to get everybody forced to flash over the wall. 3-2 trade there.
The confidence from Kez right there. He just runs in with Nidus jumping over the wall, pops his ulti, runs right up to Baron and steals it out from under Nintendo. Even the Elise, with her execute abilities, isn't able to secure it. There it goes. Olaf pops it, runs right through 2 walls to get in there. And he's 1 man versus 4. Bishu throws in the ultimate, but it was even too late. That was just all Kez right there, able to take it away. And Nintendo, he was actually left with the smite cooldown still available after that.
And now the inhib's back up for TWZ, so all of a sudden their position looks really nice here in this game, and they've kind of ground out a lead here, slowly getting more and more ahead. Close to 10k ahead now, just under it at this point, and this is a great position to maybe push it to a game 5.
They got a lead, and they do not want to let it go. They pretty much had it, as far as gold is concerned at least, for most of this game, and they like the feeling. Now that they do have the Baron buff, it also means that that objective is not there on the map to draw out Coast, though. So when they're looking for their picks, it's really going to be up to Coast to avoid the extra vision control and play a little bit safer now.
Can't even get the outer mid turret, still up there for Bishu in his lane, as the Coast tried to answer back there while everybody from TWZ was off shopping. You're right in that this is a great spot for the Walking Zed, but they actually have to close out the game from this point, and Coast have really held on to their inhibitor turrets.
So what the siege is going to look like here, because, you know, there's no teleport for the Walking Zed, they're probably just going to group up as 5 as soon as Bobby clears down the bottom wave, because they don't want that one, you know, taking that inhibitor for free. It's going to look like poking at the turret, because, like we said before, none of them want to get caught out. Shifter's shown already that he can burst down a single target as easily as any other member.
I like the Hex Drinker here, though, for Kha'Zix. That's going to give him a little bit of insurance, potentially against Shifter, which could have some trouble. I mean, he doesn't need much survivability, does Kha'Zix, but he does want some here. And you're right, he's just dealing ridiculous amounts of damage, even to Zion Spot, who's only now just finished his Spirit Visage.
Yeah, it's also interesting that Yuzuki's gone with the Ninja Tabi for his boots. He does not have tenacity in his build yet. So if he gets withered, it stays on him for the full time. If he gets hooked, it's on him for the full time. If he gets cocooned, it's on him for the full time. So he's relying on his mobility to avoid most of the crowd control from Coast.
All this poke coming in though, Wiz Fusion very low, is forced to back off towards the fountain though, does have the home guard, so we'll be rushing straight back here to defend this turret, and that's the main wave clear there for Coast here as TWZ looking to really put the screws in now and just hammer down this turret. They need something, and they've got to open up an inhibitor. If they can do it, they'll look really good to close out and push it to a 5th and final game here. But I mean, look at the defense.
Yeah, but TWZ got what they wanted. They got the empowered auto attacks onto the turret. So they took giant chunks of damage out of it with just a small amount of turret shots actually taken. Doing a really good job here of working it down, because they do have the Baron buff. You know, they don't have those straight up raw tank stats, but they have regen. And at this point, Olaf is starting to get fairly beefy, so he can be the point man for the fight that does break out.
I mean, Coast are pretty much just forced to turtle this as hard as they can. They don't quite have a Nivea tier wave clear, but it's pretty good here in this game here. I mean, Jinx and Nasus doing an admirable job clearing things out. Shifter could also make a play as well off to the side, but the Walking Zed, they don't have to do too much more here to close out this game, but they need one more little win here.
Yeah, definitely once one inhibitor turret goes down, it's kind of like a dam breaks, and it's a huge window into the opponent's base. But when they're all standing, it's a lot harder for you to make that last push and get inside the base. Now with the the recent changes, they do regen a little bit of health very slowly. So if you give up on your push and you take too long to return, you're gonna have to do it all over again.
Zion actually cleaning out the mid lane in there as well, so he's gonna actually quickly move back. He's Knows he can't really split push now. He's just going to clear out one little wave and move back there. Picking up a little bit of extra gold for himself, but returning now to help his team clear out. Nidus though going in. There's a repeller from Elise there. Nintendo going to drop back down. They get the turret though. That's what they want. And now the Walking Dead going to move in onto this inhibitor, and Coast just can't quite fight right now. The damage moving in. Big Shoot with the damage now, looking for the resets, as that's maybe yet another kill. 1 for 0 only, but that's all they needed.
Woo! Yeah, Zuki rocking, looking for that reset on the main tank right there. They take down Zion, and now they're looking for Nexus turrets.
Yeah, they just want to close out this game. You're going to get one Nexus turret. No, not quite.
They're going to get it low.
That's true.
There you go.
They did get it low. That is a fact.
They have a huge minion wave top as well, so that's actually doing a lot of work for them. There you go. As you can see in the picture, that thing's going to start melting through the turret. They have to be careful right now, not get overzealous, because it could be turned around.
Oh, Nidus main gets picked up by Shifter, but it's just a support, maybe not enough. Nintendo going in for Kez though. That's a good amount of damage. Wiz Fusion's going to pick it up. But Nizuki looking for the reset. Picks up one, trying to go again. Gets another one, gets the double, gets the triple, and almost finds it. But the calling does get through there, and that's going to complete the ace.
Get cold, Shifter. Oh my goodness, what a way to end the game here. Zion's the only one back up. Can he fend off two members of TWZ?
He's going to try here. Verify moving out there, taking still quite a bit of damage. It's not quite the tanky beast he was before. And the Walking Zed still trying to push in.
They've got 20 more seconds till there's a number of members, so they're not going to try for the Nexus turret. They want to grab another inhibitor one, so they'll have 2 doors open next time they return for inhibitors.
Gonna look for this inhib maybe as well. Door has been open though, mid inhibitor under threat here. Bobby Hankill moving through, trying to finish it off. Is Zion though popping it off, looking for the damage and going in. Big Shoe could be in trouble, actually flashes past him I think.
He's trying to corner them because they're coming out with home guards. 2 of his friends are coming to join the battle.
Zion almost there, does get out with the lantern though. Bobby Hankill and Bishu run away on very low health. The ult's back up for Wiz Fusion, but he's got to defend the base.
Bold little game of leapfrog there, but Zion does defend the second inhibitor there. Only one line of super minions will be marching towards Coast base, and they've bought themselves a little bit more time in this game, which is exactly what they need.
Coast, unfortunately, kind of short on time at this point. I mean, the Walking Dead were able to build a lead that just looked insurmountable almost in this game. I mean, they're doing everything they can. They've bought a lot of time here in this game. Almost 40 minutes have elapsed on the clock, but Baron's going to be back up soon. There's going to be very little they can do to actually try and pick that off. I mean, Zion with the teleport, maybe he can make a play.
I can't help but think that TWZ might have rushed that extra Nexus turret there a little bit too early. They did have that giant minion wave doing a lot of work for them top, and they did not have to go for that trade, but they still have a huge lead in this game. They have the map control, and Baron is up, so that objective could draw Coast out of the base and allow TWZ to make another one of those plays with, you know, Nidus jumping over another wall and grabbing somebody with his spear.
Yeah, Ward's going down there, so Coast do currently have vision of Baron. Now the Walking Dead going to shove up mid. They've got that inhibitor open and ready to go. Whoa. And Coast, they can try and defend as best they can, but they need to really pick somebody off here. I love the Banshees from Bobby Hankill.
Double Pinkworks drop there as well. Yeah, so defensive items are starting to come out. You know, we have a Guardian Angel as well on Yuzuki. That means it's going to be real hard for Coast to win the next team fight. They don't want to contest that inhibitor. It's way too low.
Yeah, it's just so hard to defend an open inhibitor. I mean, the tower you can maybe make a stand under, but that's 2 inhibs down now for Coast as the Walking Zed probably going to look to get this Baron down here. All being thrown out there. Bishu gets a whole stack of gold.
So 2 inhibitors down is extremely hard to go contest Baron. If they leave for any amount of time, looks like they are going to go for it though, because Zion's got his teleport. But have to remember, a Nexus turret is down already.
Nintendo wants to steal it back. He doesn't quite get it though. Olaf's going to clean that once again, and Yuzuki cleans out Nintendo Dex.
He is looking for a little redemption right there, but he does not quite find it, and that's probably going to be curtains for Coast right now.
Could very well be here. The Walking Dead looking to make what they hope to be their final push here in this 4th game here. They would tie it 2 for 2 if they're able to make it happen. And of course, we go to a 5th and final game here. So, going to take out the inhibitor. They've already done again. It just respawned, so beautiful timing on that one. 20 seconds left on Nintendo as well. Not going to need a whole lot here at TWZ, but they will have to fight for it. Daydreaming, looking to make a hook, gets Kez, but that's not really who he wants. And now Knight is going in, right in the Crow Storm.
10 more seconds until Nintendo gets up too.
Oh,
But there
Daydreaming,
goes!
very dead. There is Silence Fight now also getting chunked down. Kez going to chase everybody in the fountain. It's Yazuki picks up the double kill, taking out Shifter. They want so many people here if they can get it, but the Nexus is going to go down here. The Walking Zed will push it to a 5th and final game.
Well-deserved win right there. That was a ballsy comp to pull off. For the Walking Zed to come in here and use an all-offensive build, which is what Coast used to be known for. And really, it was Coast going with that sort of late-game build with the Nasus there, waiting just too long. They never really got to the point where they could actually tank that damage. All of the Walking Zed rush penetration, and even though Zion was able to get fairly strong, up over the 500 mark on his Siphoning Strife once again, he wasn't able to survive long enough because there are way too many sources of damage from TWZ.
And to me, Kobe, I think Nintendo needs Olaf back.
Yeah.
It doesn't look the same here. We've talked about it before where Shifter, his roam looks so much better when Nintendo's able to come in and cover his lane for him. And when he can't do that on Elise, he just doesn't have enough wave clear.
I mean, we talked about at the beginning of Champions League, where they were trying to take away as much as they could from Coast. It is the Olaf and the Ziggs had really high impact in that game. So very excited to see the adaptations that Coast are going to make for the 5th and final game. It's all coming down to this. Next winner gets into the LCS.
That's true, and I'm glad you mentioned it again. Kind of forgot what was on the line here with so much exciting League of Legends, but yes, a spot in the NA LCS here for Spring. I mean, both these teams would love it. Coast want to get back in, and the Walking Zed would love to prove themselves as a challenger team and make it in. But moving into Game 5, Trevor, we are going to have a last game. What are we expecting kind of going through? What do you think we can have happen? Or maybe, what happened in that last game that you think Coast could do a little differently?
I almost expect Coast actually to rise to the challenge here and go back to one of their comps that they love and stick Zion on a damage-heavy carry top laner and just match them heads up so that we'll have a full 10-man brawl of just giant amounts of DPS.
All right, we'll see. We've got to take a quick break, but when we return, it is time for the final fight in the battle for an LCS berth. It's the winner-take-all Game 5 between Team Coast and the Walking Zed right after this.